Hey, everybody, welcome into the Raheel Show podcast. It is Monday night. That means I'm bringing in my little buddy, Jose Partida. What is up, Jose? How you doing, man?
Hey, Raheel. I'm good, man. How are things with you?
Everything is good, man. I feel like it's been a year since we last chatted.
A year's worth of stuff has happened. By the way, before we start, I'm peeping the bobblehead in the background.
I
I'm
got
peeping
you.
it.
I got you. There's my
I'm peeping
bobblehead,
it.
my graduation bobblehead that you got me 2 Christmases. Was it 2 Christmas?
Yeah, it was 2 Christmases ago.
Is it Christmas or Christmases?
2 Christmas ago.
I think it's 2 Christmas ago that you got me that bobblehead. It was in my. I'm actually looking at my sack of stuff from my desk at ESPN. I've yet to unpack it all. So it was the first thing there. I've got a bunch of like championship rings and random stuff I've acquired over the years. But that one made it out because baby Trickster saw it and she was like, "This is so cool." And she goes, "I want it." And I said, "Absolutely not. That is a keepsake. You cannot have that as a toy." So there
You
it
can
is.
have that when I die, baby trickster.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So we are live, and thank you everyone for joining in. If you are watching live, comment away. We do interact with comments on this Monday night chat because it is more of a chat than an actual show. I want to give some love real quickly, man, before we get going on all of our topics that we have. AR Platinum, man, I just want to give you love once again, brother. Thank you so much, man. He is the nicest person because he doesn't have to do this, but he's sending a bunch of subscribers my way on YouTube and giving away prizes for it and all that. So AR Platinum, man, I truly appreciate that. Thank you for the assist, man, because that does help grow the channel. And not only that, it helps me monetize eventually on the YouTube front. So I appreciate that, AR Platinum. And then much love to Barry Laminack. His show is blowing up, man. He is doing a great job, and AR helped him out as well. So thank you again for that, man. It's been really cool to see Barry do it. He sent me a shirt, the Barry on Deck shirt.
Oh, you got the
I
very
got
on
the
deck?
exclusive. I got the exclusive, baby.
It's out of stock. How'd you get one?
Bro, I just got it, man. You know what? I had to hit up StockX, and I got it. But yeah, it was really cool of him to send that my way. So I just want to give some love to those two guys before we get rolling into our topics, man. So much love to them. Today on the show, we're going to do our recap of the week. A lot has happened, a lot of different things to talk about, man. And then at the end, we've got our click or no click segment, which is starting to become one of the most popular segments on the show. And then we're going to hear from one of our listeners in our listener invite only question. So you set that up. I love it. We're going to do that today. Let's get into it. What has happened in the last week, Jose?
Oh, buddy. What hasn't happened? The Confederacy has collapsed. As of yesterday, I don't know if you saw. There was a Confederate statue that was thrown into the Boston Harbor, I think, and people today were trying to fish it out.
It was in Baltimore, right? I think it was in Baltimore that
was
happened.
In Boston. Well, wherever it was, they were trying to fish it out today, which I saw like 10, 15 minutes before we started here, and I was laughing. Homeboy was in his socks trying to fish out a heavy-ass statue.
I can't believe that. Like, they're digging. Like, how deep is it? He had zero scuba gear on. My dude was just going for it. He was
not prepared.
No, he just came in there and said, "I'm going to figure this out." You know what? This dude right here, the statue, I forgot who the statue was. I just saw it on Twitter as well, and I was like, this is unbelievable. I didn't think last week when we chatted that this much change would already occur. So in the last week since we talked, Jose, I'm going to give some bullet points, okay, off the top of my head, and remind me if I miss anything. Number one, Drew Brees comes out and is like, "Hey, don't disrespect the anthem. This is why I stand for it," and all that stuff. Cool. And then he has to apologize because Michael Thomas's teammate was like, "What the hell just happened?" And then he organizes a really cool and powerful clip of NFL players saying, "We're not gonna, you know what? We're gonna protest. We're not listening to the NFL anymore." And they said it: police brutality, Black Lives Matter, all of that stuff on video, which we haven't seen.
With a rogue employee from the NFL social media that helped them put that together.
Oh, is that? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So somebody from the NFL did it to help them put it together.
Michael Thomas put it together, yeah.
Yeah, because I saw Michael Thomas was the first one to reach out to everybody. And Then we get Roger Goodell, who leaks out the worst quality video ever. Was the quality bad on your end, or was it my internet? Because that was
No,
literally the worst quality I've ever seen
that
from a professional league worth billions of dollars.
that was definitely not the same stream he used for the NFL draft. That's for sure.
No, that's what I thought the NFL draft stream was gonna look like. Dude, how do you knock the NFL draft stream or the NFL draft broadcast out the park, and then a simple recorded video comes out looking like he shot it on a flip phone?
He shot
Those
it
are
on
little things.
It's like when so I have a group chat with my cousins, right? And she always sends us videos of her niece. I mean of my niece, her daughter. And my brother is the only cool guy, the idiot that has the Android phone. So he not only ruins the iMessage group chats, he makes the video qualities drop drastically. So it looks like it was sent on like a Snapchat video from like 2012 or something. It looks atrocious. That's what Roger Goodell's video looked like. It looked like something from 2012.
Dude, it is
an
nuts.
embarrassment.
It was so bad. And then we get Cal McNair, who Sammy pointed out. Cal McNair, who is now one of the owners and runners of the Houston Texans, he sends out a hostage video. I see it, and I texted Lance, John, and Dell, because I'm still friends with them, of course, and we still have our thread going, which is fantastic. And I'm like, dude, did you guys see this hostage situation that's happening in the Texans franchise? There was no emotion behind it, but cool. Like, at least you did it, right? So we get that change of events. Then we get the cry to defund the police, which we've heard before, but never like this. Right. I mean, it is happening now, and Minneapolis has already voted to defund the police, which the right is like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And the left is like, yeah, we defunded the police, but we're actually not sure what that means. So I was reading up on this today, like exactly what does that mean? Defund the police, right? It sounds on the surface, you're like, okay, you're taking away funds, and that's it. Like, it's almost a punishment. But so many police departments have now taken on so many different programs that is part of their budget, but they're not trained to execute these programs. So what defunding the police is, yes, at the end of the day, they are just taking away money from them. But what's happening is they're taking these programs that these cops are not trained for and putting it in the right places, whether it be community development programs, maybe involving a third party and letting them handle some of this. But there's so many programs. If you start reading just like the Harris County, Fort Bend, any kind of police departments around, and the sheriff's department for Fort Bend, you start reading into all the departments and all the programs that are going on. You're like, why is this under the police umbrella anyways? So that, like, this is a good thing. This isn't, right. It's going to be a lawless society. This is looking at their budgets and going, wait, why do you have this program? This makes no sense.
Why do you need like the city of Philadelphia today vetoed I think the police department wanted $14 million, an additional $14 million. Mm-hmm. Like, why do you need that much money from when you're already making like you're getting 10 times more funding than the education system? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And I don't know. I'm not qualified to speak on these things. I feel like I don't know enough about them, but I feel like that's basic knowledge at this point. Like, this is basic information at this point.
Yeah.
If not, you're not paying attention.
And like, some of the educational stuff is such a big deal. And I was talking on one of the podcasts that I did last week, and we got to recap. Dude, I thought that last week was with Juan Adams. I remember now. But the lack of funding that education gets versus some of the programs that police departments have, it's atrocious. Like, we need to fix that, right? And like, this is a good thing. It's unfortunate that it took another minority getting murdered to get to this point and all these protests and all of this. But man, I'm glad it's happening. I'm glad, and maybe some of that money does work its way into the educational system. And,
as it should.
And another thing is working its way into the community programs that so many communities need, as opposed to sitting in the police budgets. Like, it has to end. So there was a lot of different things that happened in the last week. And you were right, by the way. It was Bristol Harbor.
Okay.
Right?
In
Bristol,
Boston, right?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm looking at it. Yeah. Trade Edward Colston in Bristol. So that's where it was, not Baltimore. You're right. I was thinking, I don't know why. Did Baltimore get one too?
Were you
But
watching The Wire?
I think it may be. But this was in the UK, right?
I thought it was in Boston.
No. This is what it was in London. Yeah, this was okay. Yeah, London CNN. Anti-racism demonstrators in the UK tore down a statue of the 17th century slave trader, rolled it through the streets, and dumped it in the sea on Sunday. And that's why I think that tweet said these lads. I believe that was the word. Like I was like, why are they calling them lads? Okay, that makes more sense. El Jefe, look that up. El Jefe is our official fact checker.
Yeah, Josh, look it up, man.
He said Baltimore had one as well, so we'll have to look that up. See, we got caught in the thing that we hate the most, headline porn.
Baltimore did have one. I saw people freaking out on Twitter. Like, why does a city like Baltimore have a Confederate statue when they weren't in the Confederacy and they have a heavy African American population? Like, how is that possible? That was something that I saw.
It's so wild how people get so upset, right? Like, look, yes, slavery is a part of this nation's history. It is a horrible part of the history of this nation. You can't get around that. But why hold on to it? Like, why are there like statues of slave traders up? And look, people are going to come back with the argument of that was the time and it was, accepted. Presidents had slaves before, all of that stuff. And that's, you know what? You're right. Absolutely. That time was in that time. I understand that. It's not right. But why do we still have to have statues of it?
Why are we celebrating it? It doesn't make sense to.
Yeah, like we don't need to go look at a statue of a slave trader, right? Or
we should be ashamed of something like that, I feel like.
Robert E. Lee statues are still wild to me.
He's a loser. Why are we celebrating a loser?
Dude, it makes no sense. But people get so upset about it. So you know what? Everyone has their own opinions. I'm okay with taking down those statues. But again, it's not a big part of my history, right? But what person that's alive today, is it part of their history as well?
The white Confederate rapper from Trigger Warning, the descendant of Robert E. Lee.
Who even he made some valid points. We ripped through Trigger Warning on Netflix. If you haven't watched that yet, it is awesome. That's a great show. It's Killer Mike from Run the Jewels. Who, dude, I never liked Run the Jewels. I'll be the first one to tell you.
Why?
I just never liked it. I never liked Run the Jewels. I liked their beats.
Hold on. You never liked it, or you never gave it the chance?
No, I gave it a chance because Dell loves them. Dell loves Run the Jewels.
Everyone loves them. Everyone at the station loves them. Tyler Scott loves them.
So Dell was like, you got to listen to it. And Dell's been pushing them since I've met him. And I tried, and I just never got into Run the Jewels. I just didn't for whatever reason. And Killer Mike was not a cultural figure to me. Like, to me, Killer Mike, he's not on the same level as a person I'm about to mention, but he's Atlanta's Trey the Truth.
Yeah.
Okay? Right? Like, somebody in Atlanta, do they know who Trey the Truth is?
I think he's bigger than Trey the Truth.
He is, but to me, that's who he was. That's who he was for me. Like, when Killer Mike 2 weeks ago is trending on Friday night for his
video.
Awesome comments during the Atlanta protest, and I'm like, man, I started digging more into Killer Mike. Like, why didn't I like Killer Mike before? Why didn't I follow him more? To me, he was like their Trey the Truth. Honestly, his music didn't resonate with me. But this last 2 weeks, watching Trigger Warning, their new album, which we're gonna break down, you loved it. I'm still working through it. Man, Killer Mike has had an awesome last 2 weeks for me. Like, he's shot up my respect chart because Trigger Warning on Netflix, which came out last year, 2019, it is one of the funniest shows. It's Nathan For You, who we love and respect on this show. It's Nathan For You with Killer Mike, who is one of the co-MCs on Run the Jewels.
It's a quick watch too. 6 episodes, 20-something minutes. So I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't realize, like, on Nathan For You, I didn't realize that, like, the business owners aren't actors. Which once I realized that, once I put that together over the weekend, I was doing a lot of research on Nathan For You and on Trigger Warning. I didn't realize those people aren't actors. Like, all the peoples that Nathan goes to visit, these are actual businesses.
Yes.
That his studio vetted profusely so they would not find out who Nathan was and what the show was.
Yeah, and he still says that like people don't know when they're working, you know, like when they're reaching out to him and working with him, they still don't know that it's a show.
That's incredible.
Right? But it makes sense, right? Like there's so much out there, and Nathan For You isn't Brad Pitt, okay? Nathan For You, even though he's been on talk shows, I would say, you know, a majority of the people still don't know who he is.
No, I didn't. How did I find? I found it on X. Did you tell me how? I don't remember why I even started.
I told you. Yeah, I've been on Nathan For You for so long. It's brilliant. It's one of the funniest shows on TV that still nobody knows about.
It's an interesting examination of like humans, like in their like realities when you don't like have like a filter of this isn't the right thing to do or this isn't something, because when you put in such, like, he puts people in the spot and you have to make a reaction. Like the things he proposes, he does to their businesses are always ridiculous.
Yep.
But it's being in that moment, being on this perceived reality show that just like makes people bend to him, and it's just crazy to see like where he takes his situations to. Like the one I just watched was, I'm still on season 3. I've been kind of pacing it because it's only 4 seasons. And I don't want to burn through it. Was the one when he's in California at the bar that obviously smoking isn't allowed in bars in California, and he sets up like a fake play so that people could smoke, and then he makes it a real play, and it's just the owner of the bar is playing along with this the whole time, and just the thought of this person not being an actual actress, having him do all of this at his actual bar and letting him do it. It's just so bizarre.
Did you get to the one where they made the it's like a rocket ship? It's God, how do I phrase this? Okay, so it's when families travel, they share one hotel room.
Oh, yes, I did get that.
And they made the soundproof kids bed. Yes. So parents can put their kids in a soundproof. It's almost like a coffin. Okay, that's what it is. It's a coffin. And then they just had these kids in the room in this coffin, and they're shooting a porn around them. It is unbelievable. And these parents are watching. Like actual kids. Yeah, they signed off on this. They're like, yeah, you can. Yeah, absolutely. Let's try it out. It's not a big deal.
The parents.
It's crazy.
The actor and the actress use the real parents' names for the scene, and the parents are like freaking out, and they're watching the whole thing happen while their kid is in this soundproof NASA casket,
dude,
whilst 2 strangers are having sex right outside of them.
So that's what trigger warning is. Trigger warning is that it's like just scenarios where Killer Mike, the first episode, if you start watching on Netflix, by the way, he wants to keep his money in the black community. And what that means is, and they lay it out, like the average time a dollar bill spends in the black community, I believe it was like 6 hours, right? It was something.
No, it was like how long it takes a person by their ethnicity to spend their money. And it was going like Asian Americans 20 days, white Americans.
But it stays within like that business, right? Like it stays within the Asian community.
Right, and it takes several days.
Yeah.
But African Americans was like 6 hours, which is a drastic. Yeah. And that's why I like this show more than Nathan For You. I think Nathan For You is funnier, but I learned so much from this show with just 6 episodes.
So there's a lot of different things at play in terms of what's happening in the black community, and Killer Mike being such a vocal activist for the community. He lays out some of the issues, and they actually go through solutions, and they become funny. Okay, they're kind of wild and dumb, but it's so brilliant, man. I love it. The episode that I highly recommend, even if you don't like the series, you got to watch the one on church. So they create a whole new church. It's the Book of Sleep.
Do you remember Sleepy Brown?
I don't remember him.
I like the way you move.
Is that
the Outkast song? That's Sleepy Brown.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. I didn't know that.
That's him. He was on a lot of Outkast songs. When Outkast used to tour, he would tour with them. When I saw them in 2014, he was with them on the reunion tour.
Oh,
That's
dang.
Sleepy Brown.
Okay, I didn't know that was that Sleepy Brown. That's awesome. So they create a whole new religion around it, but don't get caught up in that. Get caught up in the message that Killer Mike has and the voiceover and what he talks about, like what religion should mean to you and believing in yourself and your fellow man. Dude, it was beautiful. Like that was a great episode for what we're going through right now, but it's also a great episode of just understanding your own faith. It is so good, man. Like it's funny, it's silly, but there's a really good underlying message that I think everybody that's listening to this podcast, go watch it. And it's trigger warning on Netflix. The episode is called Book of Sleep.
I think if you listen to this podcast and you hang out with us on Mondays, you'll just watching the first episode you'll be hooked. You'll enjoy it if you haven't watched it. One thing before we move on. Mario is the villain every show needs. He is insufferable.
Mario is the worst. He's a real person. That's a real one. Yeah, he was a real character.
He is not an actor. He is genuinely a POS.
Yeah, and I was trying to look for him on Twitter anywhere, and it's like nowhere. You can't find him. I think once this came out, and we're about a year late on this, right? Because it came out 2019. I think a lot of the characters from that show have kind of gone dark. Like you can't find many of these characters anymore. Mario does have an IMDb, but he only has credit for those episodes of Trigger Warning. But yeah, it's a really good show. Highly recommend it. I know we were talking about what happened in the last week, and so much has happened, but we just got sidetracked. So back to what's happened in the last week since we last chatted. Man, I still can't believe the corporate support that the movement is getting now. That Black Lives Matter, the racial injustice, this was not the case 4 years ago. 4 years ago, the public sentiment was, ooh, we got to stand for the anthem. And people that stand for the anthem and people that support the troops because of the anthem, they are more powerful than anybody else that's anti-anthem, which was, again, never the case. It was never about that, all right? It was never about that. So, but that the public sentiment, and look, we're coming off an election where a Republican won, so I understand that the corporate dollars and the people making corporate decisions, the NFL, all that, they might have felt a certain way that everyone's leaning one way, and now it has changed. When you've got Legos, Paw Patrol, tea companies, everyone is making putting out a message that we stand against racial injustice. Well, hold on. So in 2016,
where have you been?
In 2016 when this is all happening and everyone's getting caught up in a talking point that wasn't even valid, were you guys like, you know what? Racial injustice is kind of cool right now. So we're going to go with racial injustice, not against it.
George Zimmerman sold the gun he killed Trayvon Martin with in 2013 for $250,000. Where were you then?
Yeah, why wasn't Paw Patrol dropping statements and Legos dropping a statement? Like, do you know how silly that is? When we look back at our history in the last 4 years, that we're just like, yeah, you know what? We're kind of okay with it. We're going to side with the racial injustice crowd this time around. But now, because the public sentiment has changed and you see the protests are getting bigger and bigger, and it's the right thing. Don't worry about the political side of this, everyone. It's the right thing. We need to get rid of racial injustice across all communities. That's it. Like there's no right or wrong in terms of, oh man, you know what? That's wrong that racial injustice is happening. Yeah, no shit. Or it's right that racial injustice. No, stop. Like everyone just stop with that crap. Stop with the political side of this and just focus on a human element. It's the right thing. We need it now in 2020 in a country that's already gone through so much that we're now going, okay, now the corporate dollars are trending one way. It was wild to see, Jose, that every single company released a statement except for one, and their silence is deafening. I'm not going to say we've discussed it off air. I'm not going to.
Oh yes, we have.
I'm not gonna blast them on this show.
Total inside joke.
Yeah.
No, but you're right, and you mentioned earlier it's good to see the NFL finally get it 4 years later, and it's good to see these corporations finally get it as well. It only took not I shouldn't say it only took 4 years, because these things have been happening since slavery ended and since segregation ended. This has been going on for hundreds of years. But it gives me hope to see all these corporations, even if they don't mean it, have to address it and put money where their mouth is, which is what these corporations need. Not these corporations, these foundations that are supporting minorities and are supporting Black Lives Matter, and everyone that's donating money to bail funds of all things. Like, it's an incredible, it's an incredible sign of unity for minorities.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know who, what company hasn't said anything? Barry on deck. Silence is deafening, Barry. Your silence is deafening. He's watching, so I just want to give him some love. We gave him some love out the gate, but he's watching, so thank you so much for watching, Barry. So the whole week we get news. I mean, every single day there's something new regarding the update on not only what happened with the murder of George Floyd, but then you start getting different elements of what cities are doing. You start seeing what the police and the riot cops what they're doing out there even more. Dude, it was just a week that every single day, Jose, we had something new that was groundbreaking.
And it got demoralizing for me to watch. Like, every day it was something new of some escalation, from police and riot shields throwing tear gas that is, if I'm not mistaken, outlawed in war for you to use chemicals and stuff like that. For me, it got to the point where I wanted to get off social media, because it was so disheartening to see everything that was happening.
Yep.
But at the same time, it didn't feel like the right thing to do. Like, we've gone so long just ignoring things like this, and I don't feel like that's a step backwards. We can't go backwards anymore. We can't allow people to just sit on their hands and go backwards. So it just felt like the wrong thing to do.
So one thing I wanted to bring up, last week I did a lot of podcasts that were obviously focused on the topic at hand, right? Like, what's going on in our country. And for those of you that are listening, we got a loyal group on the audio side that you guys listen, and I appreciate that. I highly recommend everybody. There's 2 interviews that I did that for this topic specifically, I want people to share it. The Juan Adams interview. Juan Adams is a local MMA fighter from the city of Houston. He's in Albuquerque now training. But he wrote this beautiful open letter about how to solve racial injustice with 3 steps. Like, what fronts do we fight this on, right? Coming from a black man in America who and is blessed to have different points of views in terms of his life as well. He wrote this beautiful letter. So that interview, share it with everyone. And then on Sunday, I had a chance to talk to Nate Boyer. Nate Boyer is the ex-Green Beret who actually gave Colin Kaepernick the advice of, hey, instead of sitting down, why don't you kneel?
Yeah.
He also, in that interview, and David Nuno was part of it, we did that with ABC 13, he said he hasn't talked to Kaepernick in 2 years, by the way. So it's not like this is some relationship that, they go back and forth. He told them what he did. Like, hey, you should kneel. And Nate Boyer then becomes part of the movement. And he said the military community, a lot of members don't like that he's so open about everything and how he feels. And he said it straight up. He goes, dude, I'm not representing you, the military community. I'm representing me. I'm representing Nate Boyer. That's it. That's who I'm representing. Those 2 interviews, if you want to, you want to get different points of views. And then we also had Christian Covington on, former Houston Texan, current Denver Bronco. He had a great quote from a faith-based perspective of what's happening. So if you want a current, like, with everything that's happening, you got to listen to those interviews. And then I had Eric Layden on, who's an actor, who's a friend of Lance, and he's been on the station before. Talk to him. But the one that, dude, I loved, I think it was my favorite episode that I've done since the relaunch of the podcast, was Chet Garner, the day tripper. I don't know if you watch that show on PBS, but Chet is the guy who goes around to cities in Texas and towns, and he does day trips. That one was a cool interview and it's only on PBS, and you can watch it online, daytripper.com. But how he came across to making that show, how he evolved the show, his point of view, why he loves Texas so much. I just enjoyed that interview, man. It was a cool week that had everything, in my opinion.
6-time Emmy winner.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he's also a 7-time Emmy loser.
Chet Garner. We don't focus on losses around here.
That was
Raheel.
a joke we would always make with Ric Flair. How many championships has Ric Flair won?
16, right?
But he's a 17-time loser because he lost the strap 17 times. But yeah, look, last week was a fun week for me in terms of
The podcast.
like the podcast and actually talking and learning different perspectives and learning about different opinions about what's going on. And here's the other thing. Not everyone is going to side with our opinions, right? And that's okay. And Eric had a really good point. Eric Layden he set me in my place. And I brought this up like I think every episode since I've talked to him. But what happened with Drew Brees, I was, like you and I were chatting, and I was like, dude, Drew Brees should have doubled down. Drew Brees should have said, hell yeah, you know what? That's what I believe, and I'm not going to backtrack because of Twitter. Like, I would have respected him more. But then Eric just put me in my place and said, hey, the whole point of this is we want people to listen, right? We want people to adjust their thinking. And whether they do it because they were publicly bashed or even if it's just a statement, whatever it is, that's fine. We have to give them the benefit of the doubt and let them at least adjust their thinking and logic. And then we can't kill them if they apologize. We can't destroy them for changing their opinion. That's the whole point of this, is listen.
Yeah. So I was completely off the Drew Brees bandwagon, even after the not the first apology with the stock image. That was embarrassing. But the video where he apologized again. Then he dropped the bomb on Trump.
Yeah.
Which, holy shit, what? Where did that come from? And just like, Drew Brees is going at the president.
Man, it was awesome. Drew Brees just off the top. He hit him with a stunner. That's what it was.
Oh, we need to talk about the probably fake Stone Cold Steve Austin Facebook post that everyone keeps going crazy over.
It is fake. I can't find it anywhere.
So Facebook has blue check marks as well, don't they? Mm-hmm. When it's a public figure.
Yeah.
That screenshot that everyone is going crazy over doesn't have a screenshot.
Yeah.
I mean a check mark.
Yeah, there's nowhere. It's from nowhere unless it's like from like a fans only or OnlyFans.
It's Stone Cold Steve Austin as an OnlyFans.
I don't know, man. I'm so confused. So in our chat right now, people want to see how many people can join it by tweeting. So I put the link in there. If you want to tweet people the link, go for it. I don't care if you don't. But they wanted the link. Sorry to cut you off. But yeah, one of the big things that was trending this week was Stone Cold Steve Austin just putting somebody through a social media stunner because of their thoughts on the Confederate flag. And it was fake. It was fake. I checked because anytime I see something like that, that's so drastic, you're like, whoa. Right. It had to be fake. Even the Drew Brees, President Trump thing, I thought it was fake at first. And then you went to his Instagram, you're like, okay, it's real. This is dead ass real. But nobody has called out, nobody has found it to be real. I haven't seen an actual link to it. Everyone keeps sharing the same screenshot.
The same screenshot, which I have no idea where it came from.
Yeah. So, but that's part of it. You get caught up in the social media hype, and that's it.
Back to the Drew Brees thing. Does that not feel kind of like an episode of South Park?
Yes.
Like to go from not being able to read the room to the PR apology with a stock photo that he paid $33 for to fighting with the president of the United States. What a week for Drew Brees.
Man. And then the president still doubled down and like going, look, man, hey, they're not standing for the anthem. And literally everybody has moved on from that. Every single person has moved on like, okay, guys, it's not about the anthem anymore. It's about what's actually being discussed and why people are protesting. Nobody right now is protesting for their ability to take a knee during the anthem, okay? They're protesting because of racial injustice, because of police brutality, because of the way the black community has been treated. Literally nobody is hung up on that anymore, right? Except for President Trump and what he perceives that his base is going to be for this upcoming election.
Sammy with the gem just now. That man just said, "I'm not a businessman." I can't even read it without laughing. Said, "I'm not a businessman." I think he misquoted Jay-Z, didn't he?
That man Drew said, "I'm not a businessman, not a businessman." Yeah, it's just I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Man.
Yeah, that's what it was. Um, yeah, dude, it was a wild week, man, and it was so cool to see. Let me tell you the wild. Okay, like, what did you personally see? Not social media, not one of our dumb text messages or Instagram threads or Twitter threads or Facebook group that we're in. Um, Personally, what did you see? Okay, you think about it, and I'll tell you what I saw. So Saturday, I had the whole house to myself. It was awesome. I was alone. I was catching up on Trigger Warning. I started Dave. We both finished 13th, which Ava DuVernay, by the way, if you haven't watched that yet, holy bleep, amazing. I can't believe I put it off that long. I know. I
Me
was,
too.
you know, like it's one that you see all the time, and we just forget to watch it. But we finally watched it. Incredible stuff. It just shows you how corrupt the system is. Okay.
And it's not a political thing. It's not like
No, it's just facts. These are actual facts. Yeah, like these are just facts why the 13th Amendment has screwed the black community, right? Like that's it. So Saturday, I'm catching up on everything, and in the evening, it was hot as hell, right? The whole day. So finally, in the evening, it gets cool enough, and by cool enough, I mean it was 90 instead of 99, 100. So I got on my bike. I went for my bike ride. You know, put in like 6.5, 7 miles, whatever. But on my way back, I'm going through our neighborhood has one big main street, right? On that main street, I see I can see it in a distance. I see people holding up signs. There's three people holding up signs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's interesting. I would not think in this community, because even though there's a lot of minorities that live here, nobody does anything here. Okay. I see 3 signs. I'm like, no way people are protesting in our freaking neighborhood.
Right.
So I get closer. I'm getting closer. Okay. Yep. I see it. I see the cardboard signs. Black Lives Matter. They have other stuff on the signs as well. And I'm like, this is crazy. I wonder who's holding it up. I get closer and I'm like, whoa, hold on. 3 white girls in my neighborhood on the busiest street, just holding up Black Lives Matter. And they also had other stuff on the signs. I don't remember what it was, but it was obviously pro getting rid of racial injustice. They weren't, they weren't going, hey, racial injustice is kind of cool. They were obviously protesting it, and it was the craziest thing. So I was like, I need to go say hi to these people. I roll up, they're high school kids. So now I'm feeling kind of creepy. I'm like, what?
Oh, Jesus, Raheel.
Yeah, and I'm in my my compression gear, of course. So I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna.
Hey kids, I'm Raheel.
This is gonna end up being the Dave song where he goes to jail. But I roll up on them and I cross the street and I'm like, hey, I just wanted to come say that you guys are doing a great job and thank you for holding up the signs. That's really cool to see. So I went and gave a fist bump to first one, fist bump to second one, and the third one shut me down. She's like, nope, COVID-19, no touching. And I was like, you're right. You know what? I'm sorry, I forgot. But it was nuts to see in where I live. Yeah. Okay, and I live in Richmond-Rosenberg, Richmond specifically, the Twin Cities. I was like, what? 3 white girls holding up a sign. That's when you know that this isn't just a movement for a group of people. It's a movement for everybody. And you can see the diversity of the protests. You can see the diversity of all the marches. It was incredible. No, Josh, they were not doing a TikTok.
Do we know for sure they weren't doing a TikTok?
No, they were not doing a TikTok. They were in full protest mode.
Second question, follow-up question. Do we know if they were taking pictures for social media like a lot of influencers have?
No, they were not part of influencers in the wild. I don't even think they had phones on them. And that kind of got me worried. So I wanted to just stand and watch them for a little bit and see what kind of feedback they got.
Yeah.
I knew it. Like, man, I'm just telling you, in where I live on my street, just a few houses down, there's a dude who I don't want to label him, okay, because I don't want to catch a lawsuit, but he is not pro-minority, okay? I'll tell you why. So I'm with my neighbor who is African-American, and he served in the military. I'm sitting outside their house. We're talking, and my dude comes home. He lives right across them. He parks his car. He gives us a wave like, okay, default, like I have to say hi to you guys. Gets in his house and then turns on his light, which happens to be blue.
Of course.
My dude wanted to let everyone know, all minorities that are in there going, hey, blue lives matter. Okay, dude. Yes, they do matter. Absolutely. But come on, you can't even come say hi. And he's displayed other behaviors as well. So I just want to put that story in there. But I was shocked that those girls on that corner didn't get any other kind of hate. I thought it was going to happen. I thought people were going to drive by and say mean things. And I wanted to stick around a little bit longer. But then I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be standing there looking at 3 high school girls, because that's how you get in trouble. So I just went up across my, I just finished my ride. And then the other thing I was thinking, I was like, should I have been nice enough? Like, I was so happy, man. It was just so cool to see. I want to be like, hey, I'd like to buy you guys dinner. Can I just Venmo you money? Can I Venmo you money? Would that have been too far? Because I was so happy. And I'm unemployed, okay? So money's not coming in.
Listen, guys, I'm unemployed. But can I buy you guys some dinner? I don't know how I'm going to feed my daughter next week, but I would like to buy you guys dinner. Can I have your Venmo or your Snapchat?
No, I'm not going to ask for their Snapchat. Absolutely not. At a Roughnecks game, the first one ever, I was walking in the concourse after a hit, and this random girl came up to me, and she's like, I just need to get a picture with you.
What
and
the
I was
hell?
like, what the hell are you, like, what? She goes, yeah, let me just take it on Snapchat. And I'm like, I don't want to take a picture with you on Snapchat. I don't know where
You took the picture.
I took the picture, and then she's like, what's your Snapchat? And I'm like, I'm not giving you my Snapchat, random person. That's for friends and family only.
That's how you get in trouble, big dog.
Big dog, and that, you know what? That's for friends and family only.
You use Snapchat?
Yeah. You're
what the hell?
Yeah, no. You're not on it. Oh. That's where I do.
Snapchat.
That's where I do all my racy bits that I know, and I know people aren't gonna.
No, you do that in the Twitter chat.
No, yeah, the other one. My Snapchat is for trusted people. Like literally everybody I know on Snapchat, I know them on a personal level. So if anything ever leaks, I know exactly which 20 people to call and be like, who leaked this crap? Who screwed me over in this? Because this is where I do all my other material. That's not for public. So, yeah. So that was the coolest thing I saw. What about you? What was the coolest thing you saw in person, if you did see anything?
Coolest? I don't know if I have a coolest thing. I had something kind of eerie. I saw something kind of eerie that made me really uncomfortable.
What?
So I think this was last Thursday. I was leaving the station, which is on West Alabama. It's a one-way street. And I'm on the far left lane trying to turn left. And all of a sudden, just regular looking cars just race by next to me, going in the opposite direction of the street. And I'm freaking out, confused, because it's 4 cars. It's 4 Dodge, just random, just stock, generic looking, just straight out of the dealership Dodge cars. And I look into the second to last one, and I realize that's a cop. And then I look in the last one, and there's another cop in there. So these were like just cops rolling around in like unmarked cars, and I'm trying to get on 610, so I have to pass through the Galleria Mall, and there's the same thing, just these dealership-looking unmarked cars with cops in them, just covering around the mall, and that made me feel really eerie and really uncomfortable.
Why? Because you thought they were like riot cops, or?
I don't know. It was just the thought.
You think those are the cops that are dropping off the bricks everywhere?
Yeah, for sure, those are the cops dropping off the bricks.
Dude, I was looking for the points in the Houston March where those bricks were, because I need to put new bricks in my lawn, like to edge up the landscape.
I'm
trying to save money, bro. I'm trying to save money. Where are these piles of bricks that people are dropping off? Because I need about, let me see, I have the calculations here. I think it ended up being like 100 feet of bricks that I need to lay down.
That's a lot of bricks to take from a riot.
Wouldn't it be odd if I rolled up in my SUV and I'm just like, no, guys, I'm not here to loot. I'm not here to throw these anywhere.
I just want the bricks you planted.
I just need the bricks. If they're going to be free bricks out here and I need to edge my landscaping up, then can I use it for that instead of somebody throwing it through a storefront? Wouldn't that make more sense?
I feel like it would.
Yeah. So, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, where are these drop-off points? Can I give some love, man, real quickly on Venmo? Thank you to El Jefe. He paid you the $3.69, of course.
Oh, the customary $3.69.
And he said it's for your Christian Mingle subscription. So
I
that's
really
nice.
appreciate that. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Josh.
Brandon Hannon, man, thank you so much again for the donation. He is awesome. If you want to donate to the show on Venmo at Raheel Podcast. By the way, this is the last week of the Spicy Girl, Spicy Boy shirts. That's it. I'm going to disable the link, and then we're going to move on to our next merchandise drop.
It's going to be caliente.
It's going to be muy caliente. Muy caliente. Okay, other things that we missed this week. Things that we watched. 13th, which incredible. You need to watch it. I already mentioned that. Dave. I started Dave. I took your recommendation. I took LFA's recommendation, and wow. That show, I knew I was going to like it, man, and I put this on Twitter. I knew I was going to like it, but I ended up really, really, really liking that show. And I'm not a fan of Lil Dicky.
Neither
Lance has like tried so hard to make me a fan of Lil Dicky. He's like, you'll love it. And I've gone back and listened to his music now since watching the show, and I like it. Like, it's smart, it's funny, it's my kind of humor. But I can't see myself putting that album on any time during the day. Like, I don't know when I would listen to it. Am I driving? Am I at the
put
gym?
On that Lil Dicky, bro.
Yeah, nobody's putting on the Lil Dicky. But but the show is so good, man. It is good.
And I'm with you. Like, I don't really care for him. I do think he's a good rapper. I don't like his music though.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like kind of a ripoff of Atlanta, which is a show that I hold near and dear to my heart. So I wanted to go into it not like I had these expectations to not like it. And it was so good. Like the episode with Gaeta, I think is episode 5, where they get into his mental health.
The hype man.
That was such a tough episode to pull off, and they freaking did it. Like it's a really good show. I wanted to hate it. I didn't want to like it. It's damn good. It's damn.
You end up liking all the characters. The acting gets better. The easy jokes are there, but there's also complex issues, like you mentioned. The episode with Gaeta, who going against the average. That's what it stands for. The family dynamic. It's a really good show, and I recommend it. Now that I watched it, you've been recommending that show, so just want to throw that out there. A lot of people, by the way, are just catching up to what we already knew. Space Force is not good.
Right. I saw Barry ask if we watched it. I haven't seen it. I watched like the first 5 minutes, and I was like, oh, how did we get this wrong? How did we get this cast and not get this right?
But bro, you know what is fire? And I don't know if you saw this today. So the actual Space Force, the government, a Space Force agency,
right.
They're going to have trademark issues with the Space Force trademark from Netflix already.
What?
The gear that Netflix Space Force has. I don't know if you made it to the actual base yet. Man, the gear that they wear, the logo is awesome. It looks so good.
The blue digi camo.
It's like no. It's this like rocket ship logo that they have, and it's on a gray sweatshirt and t-shirts right now. Awesome stuff. Like, that is legit good merchandise right there. Barry said he loves it. He says Space Force is awesome. I watched the whole thing. I finished it, and it was, again, I said this before. It's like they took a bunch of jokes they wanted to get off on Twitter and went through the process of making an entire show. And that's all it was. It was like Twitter jokes, and it was okay. There were some good points in it. John Malkovich is awesome in it. He's the reason you keep watching that show, not Steve Carell. It was really good. The monkey episode was pretty funny, but otherwise it was just it was a lot of
That's disappointing.
And Phoebe's in it, so it's even worse. There's that Friends residue on it.
You don't like Phoebe?
Friends. It has Friends residue.
That was like one of the only like likable characters on Friends. Friends is a terrible show, but Phoebe was fine.
Nope, she's got that Friends stink on it. I can't do it.
The Friends stink?
Yep, I can't do it. You want to do click or no click before we get to... Oh, no, actually, you wanted to do this. I want to do this too. You want to read it? Do you want to read the lyrics for Killer Mike from the album RTJ4, which is Run the Jewels 4?
Run the Jewels 4, their standout song, to me at least, is Walking in the Snow. I think it's the 6th song on the album. It features Gangsta Boo from 3 6 Mafia.
Okay.
And so Mike's Mike's second verse on the song was getting the attention from a lot of music reviewers for the time. First of all, the timeliness of the album. It's an unfortunate coincidence, the timing of it coming out, but it is a coincidence that's obviously really, really, I think, important. The timing of this album is really important. But there's a couple of lines on his verse, and it's a really long verse. I don't want to read all of it.
Okay.
I would
Pick
encourage
your
you guys.
favorites.
I would encourage you guys to go listen to the song. So I'm looking halfway through it. So he begins talking about the education system. They promise education, but really they give you tests and scores, and they predict prison population by who's scoring the lowest. And usually the lowest scores the poorest, and they look like me. And every day on the evening news, they feed you fear for free. And you're so numb, you watch the cops choke out a man like me, until his voice goes shrieking and whispers, "I can't breathe." That's a reference to Eric Gardner when he was murdered, I think in 2016. If not before that, I apologize, I don't remember. And he continues, and you sit there in the house on the couch watching it on TV. The most you give us as a Twitter rant and call it a tragedy. But the true travesty, you've been robbed of your empathy, replaced it with apathy. I wish I could magically fast forward to the future so you could face it and see how bleeped up it'll be. And he continues talking about different stuff he's done for the community and whatever. He ends his verse with this: "Thank God I'm covered. The devil can smother, and you know the evil don't sleep." Dick Gregory told me a couple secrets before he laid down in his grave. All of us serve the same master. All of us are nothing but slaves. Never forget the story of Jesus. Their hero was killed by the state. That's good. That's Killer Mike's verse on "Walking in the Snow," which is the song that's getting talked about the most on that album.
Man, that's awesome.
It's dense. It's a really good song. LP raps about different things on that song that are really important as well. So you should check out that song, if anything.
It points out like the one thing. It's like, it's so frustrating to me that in 2020 we're sitting here and it's now that we've had 4 years of this, right? When this was a national topic, people are talking about it like, okay, police brutality, but everyone gets so sidetracked by the anthem stuff. We had this discussion, and it's like, we had a chance there. We had a chance. And even Nate Boyer said this. He said the fact that the message was hijacked, it's so frustrating. And it's still like the attempt happened again this week, and President Trump is still going at it, and that's fine. Like that's
intentional.
Like that's what he's doing, right? But it's so frustrating that we move forward and you go, man, how different would this all have looked if we had just embraced the actual message and tried putting some of these changes in place? And look, some of this is on all of us as well. Like, hey, we should have been protesting. We should have been speaking up more as well.
Right.
Right?
No,
like,
you're
this
right.
is on me. It's on you. It's on everybody, right? And it's so frustrating. You think back, 4 years have passed, right? Since this first came in, and you go, and look, and police brutality is not new. Okay? Like Rodney King, people are forgetting that happened as well. It's not new, but it was the talk, right? For a minute there.
Right.
And we look, and just like Killer Mike mentioned in the verse, it's like, okay, we did oh man, it's a travesty. That sucks, man. I can't believe that happened. Okay, but what are we gonna do with it? And now that finally something's being done, it's awesome, it's good, but like that frustrates me is that we had all this time, right? And we're just now getting to the point where you go, oh yeah, you know what? I think it's time to clean this up.
And it's like a mirror, like. Mm-hmm. George Floyd was murdered the same way. He was asphyxiated. I can't talk. He couldn't breathe. Like, yep. And people, it's so reflective of itself because, and the perfect example is this song, because a lot of people were tweeting at LP. The day the album came out, which came out 3 days before it was supposed to, they released it early. People were tweeting at LP like, "Whoa, he's rapping about George Floyd here." And LP was correcting people like, "No." Nope. This album was written in fall of 2019. These are songs that have been done for months.
Man, it's just crazy. It's like, you're right. Like, hey, this just happened to be the same thing that happened, and that's why we're here. But
Right.
hopefully there is some progress here. Okay, because our guest is waiting, we're gonna play click or no click at the end. All right, Jose.
Yeah, that
So
works.
you have this awesome idea, and I love this. Like, we want to hear from our fans. We want to hear from our fans that have supported us and friends. Really, they're not even fans because we don't have fans. We have friends who love what we do. And one guy that has been a huge part of this is our man
Hey.
Claylude, aka Clayton, who is going to be our guest questionnaire listener question guy. I don't know what to call it, the official role. He's a Saints fan. I'm sure he still blames the referees and not Drew Brees.
Absolutely.
Yeah. By the way, that was Drew
Absolutely.
Brees who threw that interception.
Remember
at the
that?
end.
Yeah, that interception in overtime never happened, Rio.
Yeah, it never happened because he was so overtaken by the emotion of the anthem that he couldn't get the ball
theme
out.
of the show today is we're not living in the past anymore, gentlemen. Let's move forward. Okay.
So
And I'd like to think I'm a
Yeah.
fan of both of you, but friends too. But
Yeah, we're definitely friends.
thanks for having
I'm
me.
the godfather of your son. I think we're definitely friends.
That is true.
Hey,
Although
how's fatherhood going so far for you?
it's the best thing ever.
That's
Honestly, there's obviously plenty of challenges, but it's literally the coolest thing ever, most rewarding thing, and it's fun too.
How old's your kid now?
He is 18 months, and we have another one on the way. So,
oh, God bless.
It's gonna get loud. It already is loud.
Well, good, man. That's awesome to hear, man. That's awesome to hear. You guys are gonna love life. Ugh.
Yeah. I need Jose to come babysit.
That's the funniest thing. My friends that have 2 kids, they're like, man, I don't know why we did it. And I'm like, why did y'all do it? Why did y'all have 2, man? Not my fault you were pull-out game week.
Damn, son. Clay's our guest. You can't talk to him like that.
Well,
Clay.
So we always roast Steve for like his
Land of Steve on Twitter.
Land of Steve on Twitter. He's like team no kids, and I'm like, come on, man, you gotta step that game up, and
Steve is like Roy from The Office. He's been engaged to his beautiful fiance for years.
Yep.
And I don't know what he's doing. He's just playing.
He's just playing. And watch, one day somebody's gonna come in, and Jim is gonna come take your girl.
That's right.
How do you, what's Jim in Spanish? Jose.
Oh snap!
No, Jim is not Jose in Spanish.
I think it is.
Joseph is Jose.
That's close. It's pretty close.
Okay, Claylude, what's your listener question for us?
So I was listening to the show. Obviously, you guys have been super topical with the things that are going on, and really appreciate your thoughts and your opinions on things. And it's just a crazy time we're living in. I don't know if you guys cover this or not, but have y'all seen from the whole different corporations covering Black Lives Matter and being willing to listen, NASCAR coming out with their video? Yo, it's really, honestly, first of all, cool,
Right.
and awesome, but just I just feel for the people who have to read the comments.
No, I didn't see this.
Yes,
NASCAR put out one?
So you remember
They
you know how
fired-
they're doing the NFL players did the collaboration video where they're all going through I am
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter, I am and they're naming all
I am
different
Trayvon
names.
Martin, right.
So
Right.
the NASCAR drivers did it as well.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that video.
Yeah,
I
I'll
saw
try to
Bubba
find it.
wearing I saw Bubba Wallace wearing the shirt.
Yeah, well, I'll find it and send it to you, Jose. But I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. is
Oh my goodness.
kind of the anchor on it, because he came out on Twitter and
I did see people
He's
were
just for the record, Black Lives Matter, which is awesome, because I think that fan base is just I don't know. I was talking to my wife about it last night, and it's people who continually want to not listen to how important it is to solve racial injustice are going to continue to have bigger and bigger problems when their favorite people, celebrities, don't support their backwards thinking.
Yeah.
And so Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming out and being just for the record, Black Lives definitely matter. It was super awesome. But there's a really cool video of the NASCAR drivers doing it, and I think they're drivers. I mean, it's definitely Dale Earnhardt Jr. and other NASCAR people. And at the end of it, they put up the NASCAR logo. I mean, it's legit NASCAR's,
The NASCAR
statement.
logo in black and white.
No, it's still in
Damn. Damn.
Okay, you got to send me that because I need to watch that. I didn't see that. I saw Bubba Wallace and Dale Earnhardt Jr. on Scott Van Pelt's show, just talking about everything, and I was like, damn, they must have exhausted all their guests if Dale Earnhardt Jr. is on here talking about racial injustice. Okay, I was like, yo, he must have talked to every black athlete already. But it must have been that, I guess. I mean, I just saw them. I wasn't paying attention, but okay, well, that's all.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll answer this after. But it is, dude. There's one. So one, I like the one that I love, Rex Chapman, and I give him some crap from time to time because the Twitter content. Yeah, blocker charge guy. He's had some people, like his fans range from us to people that are not like us. Okay, and I know one specific account that does not think the way Rex Chapman does, and Rex Chapman is like super woke, by the way. And I'm just thinking, how hard must it be for this guy who's always tweeting and interacting with Rex Chapman to like now see Rex Chapman go anti-cops, pro-racial injustice. This must be so hard. And he doesn't want to unfollow him because there must be a friendship there because they talk like they're friends. And I'm like, man, this has got to be a hard time for that dude.
Do I know this person you're talking about?
Yes, you do know.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm like, there's no way you philosophically line up with Rex Chapman. So I just you're right, Claylude. It's got to be hard for these people who don't think a certain way when they're, when their celebrities are taking the common sense approach, like, hey, you know what sucks? Racial injustice, guys. That's
but to be fair, imagine losing your Robert E. Lee statue and NASCAR in the same week. That must be devastating.
That's tough.
That's somebody who lives in Atlanta. If somebody who lives in Atlanta has gone through a 28-3, this is their 28-3. Right? In the last week, you lose Robert E. Lee, you lose NASCAR. You
lost Matt Ryan.
Matt
Ryan was talking about that action too.
Yeah.
You lost him.
Who's left out there that is anti-racial injustice?
In Atlanta, I don't think there might not be anyone left. Have all the strip clubs been accounted for? Have all the strip clubs released statements?
Probably.
In Atlanta?
What's the one that Killer Mike goes to? Blue Oyster? No, what was it?
I think so. Something like that.
Yeah. Okay, well, Claylude, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you joining us. Jose, thank you for setting that up, man.
Of course, man.
Cheers.
All right, get out of here. And by the way, Drew Brees threw that interception. Not the referees. It wasn't the referees' fault that you guys lost and the beloved Rams made it. Okay, let's do quickly click or no click, Jose. We got 5 stories. Is it worth the click? Is it worth it? We'll find out. So here we go. Number 1, we're going based off of headlines only.
All right, you ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right, number 1. Billie Eilish says she feels trapped by the persona she created. Are you a do you like Billie Eilish's? Eyelashes? I said eyelashes because Rainn Wilson interviewed her once and called her Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish's music?
The Bad Guy song isn't bad.
That's a really good song.
It's a good song, but no, I haven't downloaded the album yet.
It's solid.
She's just a 2020 Lord, right?
Sort of.
That's the feeling I get. I'm like,
sort of.
It's just 2020.
I think
Lord.
Lord's a better music writer.
Lord's album, music. Man, that album is still fire.
Pure Heroine or her
Pure
second
Heroine
one?
is.
Pure Heroine.
I don't even. Does she have a second one? She had one.
Yeah, she had, Melodrama. It's a breakup album.
It must have been trash.
No, it's not trash. It's good. It's not as good as Pure Heroine, but it's
okay.
Good.
Yeah, Pure Heroine is that album. When I listened to it, I was like, "What the hell? This is beautiful. This is really good." Okay, so no, it's not worth a click.
That's
to
not.
me.
Yeah, I agreed. I agree. Man tormented by mystery pizza deliveries to his house for almost a decade.
You know what to do here, Jose. Give me that click. Give me that click here. I need to know what happened. Man tormented by mystery pizza deliveries for the last 10 years. So he's just randomly getting pizza sent to his house and has no idea what's happening.
The slug under the headline, quote, "I start shaking every time I hear a scooter on the street."
This is a good long con prank.
Oh, this is incredible.
So give me some more background.
Also expensive. So this guy's name is Gene, who is 65 years old and has been plagued by delivery drivers turning up to his doorstep with a pizza he hasn't ordered at all hours of the day for almost a decade.
So this happened when he was 55 years old. Imagine that. You're like, man, 55. What am I? You know what? I've got so much free time on my hand. I'm looking forward to life. And then just randomly pizza starts showing up. And then did he start throwing them away or what?
Get this. His reign of pizza terror came to a head in January of last year when 10 separate delivery drivers turned up the same day. One delivered 14 pizzas. What do you do with all this damn pizza?
Oh, that is pretty terrifying. If 14 pizzas rolled up on you?
From one guy. Never mind the fact nine other delivery guys dropped off pizzas.
Yeah, that is pretty terrifying. Like, what do you do? Now you're responsible for all those pizzas. Are you going to throw all those away? Are you going to put that on your guilty conscience?
You can't throw all that food out. You got to give some out.
Yeah, but then now you have to go. Now you have to go find people to go give it away to. You can't just roll up. You can't just roll up on a donation place because they're not going to take it. You have to go find homeless people.
And then you can't pull up on a friend randomly because you become the thing you hate. Dropping off 14 pizzas to one person.
That's a good point.
He says, I can't sleep anymore. I start shaking every time I hear a scooter on the street. I dread that someone will come to drop off hot pizzas yet another time. This doesn't feel real.
That sounds like an Onion story. Do you think Jordan? You think Jordan gets the cold sweats? Like, if a pizza shows up to this place at 3 a.m., he's terrified because he was
don't open poisoned. The door. Yeah, he had food poisoning.
It's a Hennessy-filled pizza.
So apparently, this gets a little darker. A friend of his that lives 20 miles away has experienced a similar situation around the same time. The incident has been recorded to the police, who, along with the two victims, believe it must be someone they know.
Yo, I want to be that rich where I could just send pizzas to people.
Send me 20 pizzas in one day?
Yeah, that's a good prank, right? That's an expensive prank, but okay, there you go. Where was that, by the way?
I don't.
If you don't have it, you don't have to look it up. It has to be overseas.
Josh has to say something stupid on the chat. Worst would be if they're sending him pizza that no one wants, like a pineapple pizza. Get out of here,
Josh.
Boo.
Jalapenos, pineapple, beef.
Ooh.
Son, you get the sweet, you get the spicy, you get the saltiness from the beef. That's a perfect combo right there.
All right, next one. Americans are drinking bleach and dunking food in it to prevent COVID-19.
Man, that's no click. That makes sense, actually. How many Americans? Did it say the percentage, or it just has Americans?
Well, you want me to click? The headline doesn't have one.
No, don't click it because that's not worth a click to me. That actually sounds right. You know what? We got some dumbasses.
Joe Exotic writes a letter to fans telling them he'll be dead in 3 months.
I need that click, bro. I need to check up on Joe Exotic. What's happening with him?
Did we find out if he had the virus or not after all? Remember there was rumors of him having the virus?
Yeah, I don't think he did. The reason this might be breaking, and I don't know, because this is just using my headline deduction. You saw that Carol Baskin was awarded Joe Exotic's ranch or zoo in Oklahoma. So his life's work is officially gone to that bitch Carol Baskin.
She won. She ultimately won. So the story goes, it's on Lad Bible. He's written letters to supporters, families, and loved ones claiming to experience tough conditions at Fort Worth, Texas, where he is serving 22 years for 2 counts of murder for hire and 17 of animal abuse. In the emotional charge note, the 57-year-old claims all but one of his medications has been stopped, and he is drastically losing weight. Oh, this isn't funny. This is actually kind of sad.
This sucks.
In the letter, which was obtained by TMZ, Joe says, "I'm losing weight. My sores won't heal. I'll be dead in 2 to 3 months. It's like I have been sent to death row. They stopped all of my medication except for one. This place is like hell on earth."
But now, because this letter leaked, I bet there's going to be pressure on the prison to turn things around.
Oh, no. The letter continues. Do you want to hear the rest of this?
Yes, I do.
The pandemic is over, and now I ask you to ask President Trump to keep his word and to look into making the wrong a right and grant me a miracle.
Bro, I'm sorry, Joe Exotic. President Trump has moved on to other things.
like beefing with Drew Brees.
Yeah, it's like way too late. Barry Laminack says pineapple on a pizza. Oh, I didn't know I was watching a communist show.
Yeah. You didn't know we were communist?
Barry not liking pizza was the most Barry thing ever, by the way.
So on brand.
Yeah, he's sticking to the brand. I like that. Always about the brand. Which, by the way, subscribe to his channel. Barry is funny. He does a daily show Monday through Friday, 2 to 4 p.m. His numbers are outstanding. Okay, so support him even more, and keep up a good fight, Barry. It's awesome to see your show grow. But you're dumb for not putting pizza or pineapple on your pizza. Okay, so that was number 3. Number 4.
Greek Orthodox Church rules yoga is incompatible with Christianity.
I'm intrigued. Okay, I want to know why it's incompatible with Christianity, because
is yoga supposed to be like some sort of? Well, I guess people take it.
Yeah, yoga is found on Hindu principles, if I recall correctly. So that's another religion. But when you go to a yoga class, it's not like you don't go in there and go, you denounce your religion when you walk in. Like when you're in a down dog, they're not saying, hey, you cannot do this if you believe in Jesus Christ or the Prophet Muhammad. So I don't see why it would be incompatible.
Yeah, so what you said is exactly what their letter says. Yoga is a fundamental chapter in Hindu religion. It is not a, quote, kind of physical exercise, the Holy Synod said in a statement on Wednesday. So I guess it is the ignorance of the history of yoga.
I'm just going to say, there's not a Greek Orthodox pant that's worth fighting for. Like yoga pants we fight for. Okay.
You fight for yoga pants.
I fight for yoga pants. Oh, you don't like yoga pants?
I don't own yoga pants. I've never.
Do you appreciate them when other people wear them?
Not when you wear them, but certainly when
other people wear them.
Right.
And don't be lying. If we did a blind taste test of me in yoga pants in a lineup,
you think I couldn't? You think I wouldn't be able to point out your ass?
No way you would be. No. You'd be like,
we've been friends for 4 years, 4 or so years, and you don't think I could point out your ass?
Okay,
I'm fucking offended.
Okay, I'm gonna do this. We're gonna do this now. I'm gonna find 4 people, women and men, to wear the same pant, and I bet you won't be able to pick out my fat ass.
I bet you I can.
All right, I'm just saying my butt in yoga pants looks like the peach emoji. There's no way you'd be like, oh, ass number 3 is kind of nice, and then we're gonna lift it up, and boom, it's me. And you're going to have to live with that.
We got one more.
Okay, last one.
Meat cleaver massages may be the next big trend in wellness.
What?
You haven't even told me, but I've already.
I'm curious. Yeah.
So, this is via the New York Post. Oh my God, this is terrifying.
Okay, and before you get to it, I bet you I can figure this out, because I don't know if you heard about scalping you haven't. There's no way you've heard about the muscle technique called scalping. And what it is, you're just basically taking a piece of metal and you're just grinding it against your soft tissue so it works out the lactic acid. So I bet it's based on that principle.
I'm laughing at Josh's comment.
What did he say?
His very last one. Dang, Raheel, what you doing out here double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon? It's the quote to I can't remember who makes those videos. But that's gonna be me when I don't find your ass from the lineup, apparently.
Okay, so give me some more background on this story. Meat cleavers are gonna be the next hot physical therapy trend. Is that what you said?
Massage therapy trend.
Okay.
So this is via the New York Post. An ancient form of massage using meat cleavers is seeing a resurgence in Taiwan and could be coming to America. The practice known as dialio, which translates literally to knife massage, in which practitioners pound stress points in your body using the sharpened edge of kitchen instruments usually used for hacking up dinner meats, while soothing your energy and reading your fortune. I am freaking out on this.
Yeah, that sounds hard. By the way, did I say scalping or scraping? I think
You
it's
said
muscle.
scalping.
Okay, it's scraping, muscle scraping. That's what. But that sounds like exactly what they're doing. Is you're just grinding into it and you're just trying to get blood flow and get that lactic acid out. I mean,
Yes.
that's what I do with my muscle gun.
So they do wrap you up in towels, which I guess provides a cover so you don't get sliced or whatever. But
No, it's so the blood doesn't leak everywhere.
fair enough.
Yeah, they're just trying to make the cleanup process.
So this is apparently something they've been doing for about 2,000 years.
Okay.
This is a thing now. You're trying to get what is this called?
I'll try. And if they said, hey, meat cleavering is gonna help.
Dialio?
Yeah, it's gonna help your back out. I'm in because my back every 3 months my back goes out. Like yesterday.
You threw out your back again?
I threw out my back again. Every 3 months it happens. It's on brand for me. I know. And like I had a great workout. I went and ran some routes with my friends, threw the football around. It was awesome. And then literally the last, I was like, we wrapped up our workout, and I was like, let me get one last sprint in. I did the one last sprint, and then afterwards, I was with my buddy, and I was like, man, I feel like there's like a hitch in my get off, right? So I was like, look at my sprint real quickly and tell me if you notice it. And he's like, yeah, there is. And then he goes, fix it this way. And on the fix, my back went out.
Oh my goodness.
And I've been in dead ass pain right now. This sucks. So if meat cleaving, Galileo, whatever it's called, I'm in. I'll try it out. I'm down for anything. Adalio. I'm down for it. Okay, we are out of time. Anything else we missed?
Josh makes a good point. Probably went out from walking out there with that ass.
No, it's not. Am I a little thick right now? Yes. But who isn't? Who isn't? Josh?
My man threw his back out because he's...
I didn't want to say I blew my back. I didn't want to say blow my back out.
He's getting a little thick.
Hey, I forgot to tell you, I went to the beach last week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I went on Wednesday. I went to Stewart Beach, which is like the crappiest beach, in my opinion, because it's sand everywhere in the parking lot as well. Like, man, Galveston Island State Park on the west side is clean. It's nice. They have a concrete parking lot, but they're closed for 2 years because they're renovating the beach side.
Holy cow. Yeah,
so we went to Stewart Beach, and it sucks. And then you can't even put your tent up right by the waves. You have to be like 50 yards back because it's run by the rental companies. So you have to rent their chairs and their umbrellas.
Oh, that's whack.
Yeah, follow the money. It's trash. It's like, come on, guys. Let me put up my tent. Let me just, and then you have to like go back and forth to your tent, and like I have to go get my skim board. I have to put more wax on it. And it's just like a nightmare. It sucked. But in terms of the social distancing, it was cool, dude. There's like, everybody's respecting everybody's space. The bathrooms are clean. Everything was super clean. That was surprising. I was shocked. Everything was clean there. They're cleaning a lot. So I would recommend if you're unemployed to go to the beach during the week because there's nobody there, by the way. Like the parking lot was a quarter full. It was empty.
Did you go with the Jeep people?
I did not go with the Jeep people. Jeep weekend already passed.
Okay.
But I am going to go to Bolivar pretty soon and make my pilgrimage, my annual pilgrimage to Bolivar. So I can say it's not hate, it's heritage, guys. All right. I wanted to drop that in there before we got out of here. Okay. Jose, thank you so much, man. Love the Monday night chats. It's becoming a favorite. By the way, your podcast number, your Monday night chat numbers are great. So Jose,
through the roof, baby.
Through the roof. And then, by the way, Josh and Steve, can you just Venmo Jose the money directly, please? Because then I have to go back and Venmo it to you.
No, they should they need to Venmo it to you so you could Venmo it to me. That's how this works.
So then the IRS, then the IRS is like, wait, why are you sending money out to this person so much, huh? What's happening here?
The IRS and the FBI.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for listening. Please, if you haven't had a chance to go listen to the Nate Boyer or Juan Adams conversation and Christian Covington, they're the episodes before this one. I love those in terms of what's happening. And if you just want to feel inspired, listen to the Chet Garner interview, man. That dude gets it. He's a great guy, loves Texas. We had a great conversation. I was so happy with the last week. And then even the episode we did together, Jose, I loved it. So
with Mike
thank
Pearson.
you. Yeah, and Mike Pearson. That was awesome to hear from somebody who's in the community, how he thinks we're going to solve this. So It's been a great week. Thank you, everyone, for all of the downloads. The challenge now, by the way, the 1,000 new subscribers, Jose. We didn't meet 1,000 new subscribers, but in terms of listens, we blew that out. We just blew it out the water. So thank you, everyone, for sending it to your friends. They were obviously listening, but not subscribing because we're lazy. But the challenge now for this week, for those of you that are still listening, the challenge, and I'm going to start pushing it a little bit more. Let's try to get 100 new reviews on iTunes. Okay. And that's as simple as opening up your Apple Podcast app and just reviewing it at the bottom. You can even put a fake name. It doesn't matter. But let's just try to get a bunch of reviews on that. And just the funniest one, I'm going to give them a prize. Okay. We'll do that. That's what we're doing. 100 new reviews by the end of June. Okay. Gives us a long time. So that will be our goal for this month. Get a bunch of new reviews. Follow Jose on Twitter at ParJ94. Interact with him as well. Thank you, everyone, for all the support. We are done, and we will talk to you next Monday night for this Monday night chat with Jose Partida. Upcoming this week, Justin Reed, the safety for the Houston Texans, will be on Wednesday with me and David Nuno. Friday is a wild card Friday, so you'll just have to wait until Friday to figure out what it's going to be, a.k.a. I'll just figure it out. Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah. But we are done. Thank you, everyone. Jose, talk to you next Monday.
See you Monday, guys. Stay spicy.